Hello and welcome to all you Aries people. Welcome for your monthly forecast for the month of June for 2014. What is going on in June? Well, next month there was a lot about Aries, about Libra, about your ruler Mars and about Venus. But now it's a totally different month. It is about Mercury, which is our thinking processes, our ideas, the way we communicate to others. This is all highlighted. And for you, Aries people, it's all highlighted in the area in life that has to do with communication already. But this Mercury Retrograde, it shifts into two different signs. So for everyone, two areas of our life will be highlighted. And especially for you who have an Aries rising sign. Of course, you can watch this as well if you have a sun sign or a moon sign, but it will be a bit to a lesser degree. Or if you have a stellium. Now, let's explain. First of all, around the beginning of the month, so the first couple of days actually of the beginning of the month, Mercury is in Cancer, which is the deepest core of the deepest point of your chart, and which is about your core, your identity, the deeper roots of yourself, what you are all about, you Aries people. So Mercury will be the first couple of days of the month in that particular area of life. And when Mercury at 3 degrees of Cancer on the 8th of the month, it goes backwards and it goes into the sign of Gemini in your 3rd house. So it will be, for the biggest part, it will then be the Mercury in your 3rd house in Gemini. And so this has a meaning. First of all, Mercury retrogrades are always about slowing down of, and in this case of communication. And it depends on your personal chart if you can deal with that well or not. These retrogrades are there for a reason. They're not there to annoy you or anything, but people, especially people with a strong Aries nature, are not quite fond of those Mercury retrogrades. Why? Because Mercury is ruled, Aries is ruled by Mars, so Aries wants to go forward. It's very impulsive. And when it is obliged to take a pause and to step back, therefore the Aries people experience that more like things like frustration, but not always, because you can have a lot of maybe Taurus in your chart who can balance that out. But anyway, this is a general horoscope, so in general, yes, some Aries people will be a bit frustrated about it. But if we know when certain things happen for a reason, then we can deal with it far better, I think. And the reason why all this is happening is for improving your 4th house. And which is this Mercury that will go back into Cancer next month. So you're getting at the beginning of the month, the first couple of days, a bit of a sneak preview. What is happening then will be very important. And that probably has to do with your home life, with your home situation, with family, with your roots, maybe literally with the environment of home, but also with your deepest core. So actually the meaning of that return, of that Mercury retrograde, is about improving yourself on a very deep level, and also about being stronger, with stronger feet on the ground. That's actually the goal of the Mercury retrograde. And that will be seen furthermore in the next month of July. But the work will be done in the 3rd house area, because there the Mercury goes retrograde for quite a long time. And what is 3rd house? It's communications. So a lot of Aries people will review the way they communicate, will review and stand still with their communications. And if they don't want it, they will be obliged to do so. So on a very basic level, check your, do backups on your computer, do make sure or be a bit slower with sending out communication and with receiving and reading communication. I have a moon in Aries myself, so I know very well, experience it myself, that sometimes I read too quickly or I say something too quickly and then afterwards I regret it. So it has to do, for you Aries people, it has to do with that area of your life. And funny enough, if you stand still on that area of your life, you will improve that fourth house, which is home, family, your inner, your core, you're feeling stronger with feet on the ground. That's going to be the fruits then, if you do your work when it considers your communication. So of course communication is in a broad way, but it can be simply like if you receive information that you don't react too impulsive upon it. And the Mercury is in Gemini, which is in its own sign, which will make the Mercury retrograde far more easier than when it would be a Mercury in its detriment, for instance. This is because planets, they have preferences for being in a sign or not, and they have higher dignity when it's in their own sign. So for you, it may be in an annoying area, because you know people can get very annoyed when they are misunderstood or misinterpret information or being too fast with the communication. But as it is in a strong sign, you will probably be okay and understanding the fact that you need to slow down a little bit with this communication, and that will have a consequence for all areas of your life, whether it has to do with work or with relationship. So if you focus on that, if you intensify that and be a bit slower on the reading and the speaking and all of that, you will gain improvement when it comes to feeling stronger about yourself, when it comes to your family life, when it comes to maybe moving next month, and therefore you need to do good communications with the people who are close to you, or maybe with the people that you want to buy or that you want to sell. All these houses are highlighted. On another level, it can mean siblings. The third house is also siblings, so maybe a sibling comes back to you, and there are things sorted out from maybe that were bubbling for a long time, and now it can be resolved. Could be the case as well. But I think you will be busier than normal, but not the nice, you could say, being busy and having a lot of work and having a lot of work done. No, it will slow down at the same time. So what can it mean? That being busier, you will have to do 3 emails to your client in order for them to understand what you're meaning, instead of just 1 mail. That's it. If you can deal with that, you will gain from it as you go further in the months of the year, actually. So this is why this Mercury retrograde, or on what areas of life it is important. Now that 3 degrees of Cancer is very important. There is also a new moon at the end of the month, around the 27th of the month, bang on that 3 degrees. It's on 5 degrees of Cancer. So that also shows a new beginning with that 4th house issues that I just talked about. The identity feeling, the strong feeling, the family feeling, and sorting out there some issues maybe. So there are new beginnings there. And on that particular point, 3 degrees of Cancer, there's also a fixed star called Propus, which is all about ideas, and making those ideas very reasonable and very acceptable. In other words, if you do have an idea to come into fruition, it will be most probably that you can make it real. And probably that idea will have to do with your home situation, will have to do with your home life, and so on and so on. So quite an important time for Aries people as well, because the 4th house is your core and is a very important house. It's maybe not the house that everyone sees, and because it's who your biggest identity, your roots, where you're coming from, but It can be also very healing, by the way, by understanding yourself on this very deep level, because that's ultimately where you're going. So thank you very much, you Aries people, to watch this video. And if you want a reading, of course, get in touch, and see you next month. Bye bye.